Hello and welcome to the Front Office Podcast. I'm your host, Marcus Cameron. And as always, our show is sponsored by Tees and Trees Clothing. Tees and Trees is where we stand on business. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Whatever time you're checking into the show, man, we appreciate you checking in. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, share, follow button. Make sure you follow our YouTube page, Instagram, High Skies Visions, and our Facebook page. Trying to get out there, trying to catch up. Happy New Year. I know I hadn't dropped an episode since the new year. Welcome to 2026. A little bit of just lively news before we get into the show, man. I had two friends, but two pretty good friends I would consider pass away. Jaron and Henry Coleman. Jaron Cunningham. With Jaron, known Henry through a good friend of mine for a long time, probably over 15 years. And both of them made it to basically 26, man, and they gained their wings, man. Prayers out to their families. Just make sure that you are appreciating every part of life you can. And I know that may sound cliche or corny or whatever you may want to call it, but it is. For people my age, I'm 45. Every day's not promised. Every day's not promised for the youngsters either. But definitely not for us, man. We definitely got more than we got in front. So try to live it to the fullest, man. But some nagging shit I wanted to talk. These fucking food reviewers, man. Let me get a little sip of my coffee before we start this right here. All right. These food reviewers, man. It's one in particular. That is the poster boy for rage bait. I'm not gonna call his name. I ain't got nothing against the brother. I don't know him, but I'm not about to give him no pub on my show. But if you're in the South Carolina area, you know exactly who I'm talking about. And he has a statement where before he starts his review is, I don't mean no harm to the business. And it's catchy. You know what I mean? It's a catchy thing. I think I've talked about him before. But he's been picking up a lot of traction lately. Got a lot of motion going on right now. A lot of motion. And just recently he went to war against the city of Charleston about their culinary, calling it trash, telling the food ain't good, blah, blah, blah. Got, as he says, got Charleston in an uproar. My issue with it is, first, the statement, I don't mean no harm to the business. I don't believe that. I think that sounds good. It's a good catchphrase, but I think it's cap. You absolutely do mean harm to the business because I don't care about your qualifications as a food reviewer. I don't. You know what I mean? I don't think you should need them. I think anybody should be able to. There's quite a few people doing it, and some of them get motions. Don't. The key thing is, if you're very or that unhappy with the food that you're in these businesses, are you at least giving them a chance and telling them? You know what I mean? And I get some people actually pay this guy to come out. They pay him to do exactly what he does, which is create a video, trash the establishment. I actually follow him. You know what I mean? I'm not supportive, but I can't turn away for some reason. I don't know what it is, but and I don't comment or anything like that because I know what he's doing with the engagement. The worse and the more outrageous he gets with whatever he posts, then that's where you start seeing, a lot of engagement, getting into it, talking big boy stuff like, he just want all the smoke in the world. And it's a dangerous game. It's a dangerous game at this day and time because everybody ain't playing, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not playing. But again, I don't think he gives the restaurants the opportunity to be able to not even respond, but just tell them his honest opinion before trashing the restaurant. It's a lot of dramatic shit. It's using the Bubba Dub meme of trash and spitting food out of his window. And, I know Dollar General food when I see it. And it ain't for me. Now, I'm not going to knock it, but it ain't for me. It ain't for me. It's kind of annoying. But again, for whatever reason, I can't turn away because it's always some controversial shit. But Enough of that, man. Life's good. Can't complain. Son going back to school today. And we got NFL playoff weekend, opening weekend, baby. So we're gonna talk a little NFL. We're gonna talk some college. The bowl games are just finished up. National championship game is set, and we're gonna talk a little LeBron James and the NBA, of course. And the Trey Young trade. So that's coming up in just a moment. So let's start with the college playoffs. National championship game is set. I don't know why I can't talk right now. National championship. There we go. Game is set. I think it's January 19th. It's going to be the Indiana Hoosiers versus the Miami Hurricanes. My overall thought on the playoffs is I thought it was a pretty good playoffs. Honestly, I mean there were a few teams that probably shouldn't have been there. The James Madisons and those teams just really didn't have a great showing. Texas Tech, I thought, was okay. They just ran up across a very, very good Indiana team. Was it Indiana or Oregon? I think it was Oregon they played. A very good Oregon team. And the two semifinal games that we got, I thought one of them was great. The Ole Miss and Miami game was a great game. That was a great game. I mean, the stars were out. It was great defense, offense all over the place. I got to give Carson Beck some credit, man. I'm not a big Carson Beck guy. I thought that was one of the reasons why he left Georgia because he just kind of wasn't getting it done over there. But you got to give him some credit, man. He was poised, made big plays. Malachi Tony, this kid's supposed to be in high school, man. He is amazing. That is crazy what he is doing. And they had a lot of other great performances from all over the place. With that Miami team. I thought Ole Miss doesn't have anything to hold their head about. I know losing Lane Kiffin was a big blow, especially right before the playoffs, but they stood on business. They stood on business and almost won that game. Almost got to the national championship, man. So shout out to them. In the other game, man, it was just a complete ass whooping. Indiana beat the shit out of Oregon, destroyed them. And I'm not a fan of either one of those coaches. They're both a bit arrogant to me, but they're good at what they do. And I think you do have to have a certain level of arrogance and confidence when you're dealing in sports. You got to have a belief in yourself. So I don't knock the football side of it, but sometimes it's just, again, the Mike Tomlin thing, Bill Belichick being assholes for no reason. It's just unnecessary for me, to me. But that's my personal opinion. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit how y'all feel about it. That's my personal opinion. But nonetheless, I think we are in for a great national championship game. Both defenses are relentless. Both defenses, I think, got first rounders all over the field. They play well. Miami's they're gonna have to find a way to not beat themselves. Because if you give up all those penalty yards against Indiana gonna beat the shit out you. They're gonna beat the shit out you. But Miami has made me a believer. Miami has made me a believer because that defense, again, relentless. Absolutely relentless. Carson Beck, if he can duplicate that type of performance and come in there and be poised, don't make mistakes, Miami's got a very good chance of winning this game. But I think it's going to be a battle. Indiana's very good. Their quarterback is very good. They got talent on the offensive side of the ball. I'm going to take, because I'm probably not going to get another episode out before then, but I'm going to take early. I'm going to say Indiana going to go ahead and pull this off. I like Miami. I like the way they've been doing that, even though I've been picking up against them with my homeboy Jizzle. Shout out to him for the last 2 weeks. Down 25 right now. But, yeah. Actually, I'm down 50. But I'm going to take Indiana, though. I think Indiana is too well coached, too disciplined. They got a great scheme. They understand what they're doing, and their quarterback is hot right now. They look like a team that they're focused. And there was a lot of kids that people didn't look at. They got a chip on their shoulder, too. So I'm going to take Indiana in this game, man. But we're going to move over to the NFL. Yes, we're going to move over to the NFL. Let's go to the NFL and talk about playoff weekend. NFL playoff weekend is this weekend. I think we got a lot of good games, man. On the AFC side, you got the Steelers and Texans. That's Monday night. You got the Bills and who are the Bills playing? The Jaguars, that's going to be a great game. You got the Patriots and the Chargers. Then on the other side of the NFC, you got old rivalry, the Eagles and the Niners. Was kind of not even an old rivalry. I think that's a new rivalry. For a while, both of them was making it to the NFC Championship game and end up going against each other. Panthers and Rams. Sneaky game for the Rams. It's going to be a sneaky game for the Rams. And then you got, it's one other game. Panthers, Rams, Eagles. Seattle has the bye. There's one other game. I'm sorry, y'all. It's early in the morning. As y'all can see, it's 8:26 a.m. on Saturday. Most people sleeping in. I'm up early. I can't remember the other game, but it'll come to me, man. But I wanted to talk about, Bears and Packers. That's it, Bears and Packers. I wanted to talk about the games that I think are going to be upsets. And I'm not going to touch too long. Again, I'm not going to touch on it for a long time. I just want to kind of get my point out there. I think the Jaguars are on upset alert for sure. The Patriots should be very careful. Even though I think the Patriots are a much better team. I think they should be able to get that done. Harbaugh's a good coach. And the Patriots have a very young quarterback, and it can get ugly. It can get ugly, and it can get ugly in a hurry, man. So I do think they are on a bit of a upset alert. The Jaguars, I mean. I think the Patriots could possibly lose, but I'm going to take the Patriots. I'm going to take the Patriots in that game. I'm taking the Bills against the Jaguars, and I'm taking the Texans against the Steelers, even though the Steelers had a home game. I don't think that's much of an upset. I just don't think that offensive line is going to be able to hold up against the Texans defense. That Texans defense is ridiculous. And CJ Stroud is a good quarterback, been up and down. Offensive line a little banged up. But they can't run the ball very well, but they got great wide receivers, and if he can find a little time out there in the cold, it's gonna be a difference though. It's gonna be a big difference. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers pull it off, but I'm gonna take the Texans. But the upset, the Jaguars, no disrespect, Dave. Shout out to Dave Reed. He is probably the only Jaguar fan that I know. Absolutely. Only fan I know. And he is a faithful fan. His team has been playing, I think, the best football since week 8, honestly. His team has been playing the best football in the NFL since week 8. And it's not a disrespect. It's just, I don't trust Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has looked great, and this is the best I've ever seen him since he's been in the NFL. For sure. They got weapons. They got ETN, Brian Thomas Jr., great wide receivers. Defense is very, very good, but it's something about the Bills. I don't know what it is, but it's something about the Bills, and I just feel like it's their year. Might be wrong, might not. We shall see. But that's going to be my upset special in the AFC. My upset special in the NFC is the Niners and the Eagles game. And maybe it's not much of an upset, but I like the Niners in this game. I like the Niners in this game. And I got a partner. Of course, we all got partners who's San Francisco 49ers fan. They are all over the place. But shout out to Boston George. He talks shit about his team. He can't stand Brock Purdy. But Brock Purdy has been playing great football over the past few weeks. And I think if he can keep that momentum going, I think they can go in there and win that game. I think they can win that game because they can run the ball. They can run the ball. Kittle's healthy. Juwan Jennings is playing like a number one. And that Eagles defense is very, very good. But I don't know if they can turn it on. I know they have the ability to be that defense and be disruptive and just make it a long day. And it's a possibility. But I don't know, man. I like the Niners in that game. I like the Bears to beat the Packers. The Packers just seem to be losing some steam. Rest in peace, Ham, Jaron. I know that's your team, man, but they losing a little steam. Now, they do have the ability because Caleb Williams is very young. I would love to pick them as the upset special if Micah Parsons was playing. If Michael Parsons was playing, it'd be different. But I think he's the heart and soul of that defense. They got good defensive players, but they're just missing a lot without him being out there on that field. And I haven't even checked the injury report. Maybe he comes back for the game. Maybe he doesn't. I'm not sure. But either way, I still like the Bears. I like the Rams to handle business against the Panthers. You got to give the Panthers credit. They have put together a pretty good season, honestly. Winning the NFC South, they're the NFC South champs, making it to the playoffs. I definitely didn't pick the Panthers to be in the playoffs this year, and they're still a very young team, so they got a lot to build on. But it's go time. I think Matthew Stafford and the Rams are coming in there, and I don't think they're coming in there to play around. I think they're going to beat the shit. I think that's going to be a double-digit win. But if the Panthers win or they find a way to keep it close, great. I want to see a great football game. So I'm not going to be mad either way, man. But that's my thoughts. So let's go back over the picks one more time. I like the Patriots. I like the Texans. And I like the Bills in the upset. On the NFC side, give me the Niners. Let me take the Bears. And I like the Rams to take care of business. All right, but let's move over to the NBA. We're going to talk a little LeBron James. We're going to talk this Trae Young trade. On to the NBA. The Atlanta Hawks traded Trae Young to the Washington Wizards for CJ McCullough and somebody with the last name Crisp. I told y'all it's early in the morning. I don't know this guy's name. Not saying he's not a good player. Hadn't come across my radar, okay? But I thought the key thing in this trade was the fact that neither team gave up draft picks. And I thought that was critical because if you Google the Washington Wizards draft picks over the next 2 years and the Atlanta Hawks draft picks over the next 2 years, it's very similar to the blueprint that Oklahoma City is doing. And these teams have a lot of draft picks. I thought that was very savvy that neither one of them gave up draft picks. Scorer Society. I'm a big fan of Scorer Society, man. Y'all check out his page. But he said he feels like the Atlanta Hawks won the trade. And I think he's right. I think he's half right. I think Washington won too. To be able to get a top-tier player, a max player, and a Trae Young, even though, he's been injured this year, and not give up draft picks or draft capital, I thought was huge for the Washington Wizards. I think, and I might be wrong on this, but I think in the East, I don't think anybody has more draft picks over the next 2 years than the Hawks or the Wizards. Maybe the Nets. But none of the bigger teams that are at the top right now. Definitely not Cleveland. Definitely not the Knicks. Orlando. Definitely not them. I know it's not Boston for sure. And I think in the next 4 years, the GM with Washington does and Atlanta, these are probably going to be two of the teams that are at the top. Sorry, making sure my mic's still on. This is probably going to be two of the teams that are at the top. I don't think it was a bad trade for either team. I think both teams won the trade. I think Trae Young got what he want. He's still the number one guy. He gets to go into an organization that's rebuilding and be the centerpiece for them. And I think that's what he wants to do. And he's working with an exec that he's worked before. He actually requested a trade to the Washington Wizards. Like that was his destination landing spot, which is crazy. That was the top team on his wish list. So he knows something because Washington is basketball purgatory right now. That shit is horrible up there. So for him to want to go there, yeah, something going on behind the scenes for sure. And Atlanta is very competitive without him. They've been competitive without him all year. I said it in the earlier podcast. They've got great pieces. Keo Alexander, Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson. They just got a lot of pieces, man. They're well coached. They're going to make the playoffs. Whether it's a play-in or not, depending on injury, the Hawks are going to be in the playoffs this year without Trae Young. So, again, I do think it's a good trade for both teams. I think it worked out well. I do. I think it worked out very well for both teams. Of course, we got to talk a little LeBron James and the Lakers. But you know what? I want to point out that I told y'all that OKC wasn't unstoppable. I told y'all they had a good run at the beginning of the season and everybody was overreacting, and now they've lost 6 of their last 8. I'm not saying that they're not the favorites. I'm not saying they shouldn't be the favorites. But all these ESPN analysts talking, oh, well, they're just unstoppable. You might as well just give them the championship and just hyping y'all up. That's their job. Their job is to hype y'all up about bullshit. That's exactly what the GOAT conversation is. They get up there and they say the stupidest shit. In regard, I don't even debate this shit no more. All right. I don't even debate the GOAT conversation no more because it's a mute point. It's a team sport. Yes, I think Michael Jordan is the greatest shooting guard in NBA history. I've never seen anything like that. Never will. He did not win one championship by himself. He didn't earn MVPs by himself. And before you say, well, yes, he did. He the one putting in the numbers. He wasn't getting MVPs when he was averaging 35 and they was losing. You got to win to get those awards, bro, and it takes a team to do so. Kobe Bryant, as great as he is, I think he's 1A when it comes down to two guards, right behind Mike. Did not win a championship by himself. LeBron James, greatest small forward of all time, did not win a championship by himself. So it's a mute point. But this is what the analyst job is to do, is to spark controversy, put out rage bait, and most of y'all just trolls. I'm gonna be honest with you. I got a friend who posted some shit the other day about LeBron James. What did it say? It breaks my heart to see LeBron James at 41 years old ducking smoke. I just watched LeBron James play against probably one of the best players in the NBA last night in Giannis. And it was all because he didn't play against the Spurs on the second night of a back-to-back. And everybody's like, oh, well, why did you choose to not play against the Spurs? Do y'all forget that LeBron James played against the Spurs earlier this year? Had 19, 15, and 8. They lost, but he played. This man has not ducked smoke for 23 years, and y'all still talking about this shit. Now, y'all ain't nothing but fucking trolls. The Lakers are the 5th team in the West. Did anybody think that they were going to be any better than that? With the way that the roster is currently put together going into the season, I thought they was going to be around top 5, top 6. That's what they are. And they doing this without Austin Reeves over the last week or so. So, fuck, I just, with the NBA is frustrating for me. It's frustrating because we live in a society where trolls use people's names to gain attention and try to benefit themselves. And, we talk about that GOAT debate and all that, Jordan, and I don't follow the troll pages, but because I go looking for the content for something for me to be able to try to speak on, sometimes I got a question for the trolls or the people who don't like LeBron James. If you don't respect him or you don't like what he's doing or you think what he's doing is fugazi, then why is 70% of your content about LeBron James? I mean, it's a rhetorical question because I know exactly why 70% of your content, because you don't have the IQ ability to be able to talk real basketball. You can't have a conversation without saying LeBron James' name because he's the biggest star in the game, and that's what you're drawn to. You can't have a conversation about how Nickeil Alexander is making the Hawks a playoff team and it's probably one of the best signings in the offseason. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you don't know that the Washington Wizards have a gang of draft picks over the next 2 years and probably are going to be a contender within 3. You're not talking about Cade Cunningham and the Detroit Pistons. I've been talking about the Detroit Pistons for the last 2 years. So I understand that saying his name on your content makes your content get some attention. And of course, definitely trashing his name makes it even better. But I do got one question for the trolls. What are y'all going to talk about when he retire? Because it's obvious you don't have any content right now. You're just going to keep playing the GOAT debate. The GOAT debate is a dumb ass debate because there is no GOAT in team sports. But, y'all have at it, man. Like I said, the Lakers 5th in the West. It's a long season. It'll start heating up after All-Star break, and we'll see what happens, man. But I want to make sure I remind everybody to please like, subscribe, share, follow all of our pages: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. TikTok is back now, Polo. I will try to get another episode out next week. I'm not doing that shit during the week no more. My job is way too mentally taxing. So I have to do it on the weekends when I have a little time and I can process everything that's going on. But enjoy the NFL football weekend, man. Y'all be safe. I'm your host, Marcus Cameron, Front Office Podcast, Tees and Trees, the clothing line. Peace.